This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is precisely 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Chandima Veerakon. Headlines. The first phase of the Alta multi-story mixed development project will be opened tomorrow. The Foreign Minister says that the government rejected false accusations in the report of the United Nations Human Rights Commissioner. Government purchases tons of paddy as a buffer stock. The CID questions MP Ashok Abesinghe. In news overseas, South Korean Prime Minister declares war on property crime as insider speculation scandal widens. In sports news, Ferrari unveils the car they hope will revive their fortunes. Local stories in detail. The first phase of the Alta multi-story mixed development project in Colombo, which is being built as a new creation, giving new experience to the local construction sector, will be opened tomorrow afternoon. The State Ministers Dr. Nalaka Godaheva, Ajit Niwad Cabral and Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, Gopal Bagle, will attend the function. The investor has paid the total investment amount for the project and it is consisted of a residential and trade complex. Secretary to the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing, Sirinimal Pereira, said that the project was launched when President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was the Defence Secretary. Constructions of the project have been suspended halfway and steps were taken to complete the project speedily after the attention of the President was drawn to the matter. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, in his capacity as a housing minister, has instructed to expedite constructions and to provide housing for the housing recipients. South City and Indian Ocean Company are conducting the project. It will provide a large number of direct and indirect employment opportunities and will lead the growth in the local economy and society. The building is 230 meters tall and it has 68 floors, which includes 407 super luxury houses. $250 million has been spent on the project. Indoday's Development Company is the investor of the project. Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that there is no agreement now among some countries about the content of the Geneva proposal against Sri Lanka, for which they earlier agreed. The minister said that the government rejected false accusations in the report of the United Nations Human Rights Commissioner. The 46th session of the UN Human Rights Council commenced on the 22nd of last month in Geneva. It will be held until 23rd of this month. Minister Dinesh Gunawardena addressed the session online recently. Chairman of the Paddy Marketing Board, Jathal Manaperuma, said that the government has purchased more than 5,000 metric tons of paddy as a buffer stock. Harvesting is taking place in all districts at present, including Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa. He told SLBC that harvesting is in last stages in Kilinochchi and Batticaloa districts. He said that the government's program to purchase paddy is successful. He pointed out that farmers are getting a fair price and the consumers will get a reasonable price due to the buffer stock. The CID is reported to have questioned MP Ashok Abesinghe this morning for nearly 5 hours. He arrived at the CID to give statement about a controversial statement about the Easter Sunday attack. A statement from him was recorded as he has mentioned that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Mr. Basil Rajapaksa are connected to the attack. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has inspected COVID vaccination program in the Colombo Municipal Council area at Narayanpita Abhayarama Temple this morning. It has been organised under the guidance of Chief Prelate of the Abhayarama Temple, Venerable Mrutattuwe Ananda Thero. Venerable Ananda Thero said that the government is providing vaccination according to a streamlined methodology. Chief Medical Officer of the Colombo Municipal Council, Dr. Ruan Vijayamuni, said that the spread of COVID-19 in the Colombo city has been successfully controlled due to the vaccination program. Today was the last day to vaccinate the people in the age group between 30 and 59 years in the Colombo district. 95,000 have been vaccinated so far. Vaccination of those who are above 60 years will commence from Saturday. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Get a home loan now with attractive interest rates only from People's Home Loan.
Continuing with the local stories, MP Sahan Pradeep says that the government is showing a keen interest on youth affairs. He pointed out that Minister Namal Rajapaksa is taking measures to get contribution of the youth to the development of the country by establishing youth clubs in each Grama Niladhari division. A program has been launched to provide up to 1 million rupees at a concessionary interest rate of 4% for businesses. A playground for the village concept has been implemented. MP Sahan Pradeep expressed these views at a media briefing today at Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna party headquarters. On successful completion of Rapid Action Boat Squadron Qualifying Course 25, 1 officer and 36 sailors were bestowed with insignia at the parade ground of Rapid Action Boat Squadron headquarters in Gangaiwadia, Puttalam yesterday. The event was held under the patronage of Commander Northwestern Naval Area Rear Admiral S.B. Senaratna. In recognition training excellence, the course participants were presented with special awards. The award for the best trainee was secured by able seaman CLS Jayasinghe, whereas ordinary infantryman YSC Vijayasuri was selected to be the best boat handler. Meanwhile, able seaman SPDAS Migara received the award for the best lifesaver, while ordinary seaman HMH Chaturanga won the award for the trainee with best physical fitness. A special operation by Navy in seas off the Iluvittu island, Jaffna, has led to the apprehension of 2 suspects who were attempting to smuggle about 141 kilograms of Kerala cannabis worth over 42 million rupees into the island yesterday. They have found a stock of Kerala cannabis in 52 packages. To end the local news, the headlines again. The first phase of the Altair multi-story mixed development project will be opened tomorrow. The foreign minister says that the government rejected false accusations in the report of the UN Human Rights Commissioner. Government purchases tons of paddy as a buffer stock. The CID questions MP Ashok Abe Singha. That ends the local news.
Pay the interest on your own home without paying rent for someone else's. Get a home loan now with attractive interest rates only from People's Home Loan. Enjoy the option of paying only the interest for the first 5 years.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
On the main news story, the Ministry of Health says that another 351 COVID-19 patients have recovered and been discharged from hospitals. This brings the total number of COVID-19 recoveries in the country to 83,561. A total of 86,685 cases of the coronavirus have been reported in Sri Lanka so far, while 2,609 of them are currently under medical care. Sri Lanka's death toll due to the virus stands at 515. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watch Light, train operations along the Colombo-Puttalam line will be limited to the Katunayaka rail station from today to Sunday. Restrictions have been imposed due to the construction of the dual rail track between Kurana and Negombo stations. Accordingly, trains are not departing from Puttalam to Colombo from this morning to 8:30 p.m. on Sunday, while trains leaving Colombo have been limited to the Katunayaka railway station. That ends Watch Light.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. South Korean Prime Minister declares war on property crime as insider speculation scandal widens. China approves plan to control Hong Kong elections. Perseverance rover deploys its SuperCam instrument on Mars for the first time. South Korean Prime Minister Chung Se-kyun said today the government was declaring war on property crime amid widening accusations of insider speculation by dozens of employees of the State Housing Corporation. The growing scandal has sparked outrage in South Korea as property prices in and around the capital Seoul has soared. Chung said at least 20 employees of the Korea Land and Housing Corporation were suspected of trying to use classified knowledge to buy undeveloped land just before new development projects were slated to begin in those areas. China's legislature has approved a controversial resolution paving the way for Hong Kong's electoral system to be overhauled in its latest move that will tighten control over the city. The Patriots governing Hong Kong resolution was passed at the National People's Congress today. It will reduce democratic representation and allow a pro-Beijing panel to vet patriotic candidates. It has been widely expected to pass through Parliament. The U.S. space agency's Perseverance rover has deployed its SuperCam instrument on Mars for the first time. This high-intensity light probe can identify rocks at a distance. It is a technique that was also employed by NASA's previous rover, Curiosity. But Perseverance has some enhancements, including a microphone that allows us to actually hear the laser at work. To end the world news, the headlines again. South Korean Prime Minister declares war on property crime as insider speculation scandal widens. China approves plan to control Hong Kong elections. Perseverance rover deploys its SuperCam instrument on Mars for the first time. That ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by Nivea along with CIB from 1st to 15th March. Valuable gifts for every bill payment. Our products, our place. CIB.
On development news, the Cabinet this week granted approval to expedite the setting up of the proposed pharmaceutical zone in Millava in Horona. The proposed pharmaceutical zone will engage in manufacturing orthopedic and neurosurgical equipment, anti-cancer drugs, pills and capsules and surgical instrumentals and internal contact lenses. The Government Information Department said the proposed zone would be implemented in 2 stages. The first phase is scheduled to commence within this month with an estimated investment of 8 billion rupees. That ends Development News.
Development News was brought to you by Nivea along with CIB from 1st to 15th March. Valuable gifts for every bill payment. Our products, our place. CIB.
Moving on to sports news, it's motorsport, Olympics and sailing. In motorsport, Ferrari has unveiled the car they hope will revive their fortunes after their worst season in 40 years in 2020. Team boss Mattia Binotto said the revised car was more efficient and the new engine more powerful after straight-line speed proved their biggest weakness last year. Ferrari has concentrated on the rear of the car in search of performance. In Olympics, Tokyo 2020 President Seiko Hashimoto highlighted the power of sport today as she expressed condolences on the anniversary of a deadly earthquake and tsunami, saying it provided hope for survivors and in facing the coronavirus. Hashimoto said the power of sport had become a focus of Tokyo's bid for the Games after the disaster and that the concept could be extended in facing the novel coronavirus pandemic. And in sailing, getting a jump at the start proved decisive in the opening races of the 36th America's Cup But tomorrow's second day of action could see more seesawing battles between Team New Zealand and Luna Rossa. Each team claimed a win yesterday, capitalizing on a mistake by their opponent before the start of each race and then holding the lead to the finish. That ends sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The Washington-based International Finance Corporation said Sri Lanka will need 500 more women directors in boardrooms of listed companies to reach gender parity, although the number of women joining leadership roles has steeply increased amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Corporate Governance Officer of IFC, Lopa Raman, said they would need about 500 more directors to reach parity with men on boards of listed companies, and the reason for this push is beyond a social and moral imperative, and there is a business case behind it. That ends Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic News, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
State Minister Ajit Nivad Cabral said China has approved a currency swap of $1.5 billion to Sri Lanka. He said it was a welcoming development for Sri Lanka to tide over the present difficulties. Sri Lanka is also negotiating a $1 billion currency swap with the Reserve Bank of India. The central bank expects to end 2021 with $5.5 billion in foreign reserves. That ends Economic News.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
No, Amma. We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
Oh, really? How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy. She might be feeling very uncomfortable. The airport must be heavily crowded because it's a season.
Amma, calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We're at the VIP lounge. There's nothing to worry.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And finally, in the weather report, the Met Department says a few showers will occur in eastern and Ubud provinces and in Nuwara Eliya, Matale, Polonnaruwa and Hambantota districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in Sabaragamuwa, western and northwestern provinces and in Galle, Matara and Kandy districts. Fairly heavy falls above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places in these areas. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in central, Sabaragamuwa, Uva and western provinces during the morning. That ends the weather report. And to conclude this bulletin of news, the headlines again. The first phase of the Altair multi-story mixed development project will be opened tomorrow. The foreign minister says that the government rejected false accusations in the report of the UN Human Rights Commissioner. Government purchases tons of paddy as a buffer stock. The CID questions MP Ashok Abesingha. In news services, South Korean Prime Minister declares war on property crime as insider speculation scandal widens. And in sports news, Ferrari unveils the car they hope will revive their fortunes. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Over to my friend Sounditavam and Victoraj to keep you entertained.